Niching down does not mean limiting yourself. Yes, niching down does not mean limiting yourself. I'm going to explain why. When you get niche or like really specific, serving one type of audience, one type of client or customer, it means getting crystal clear on who you are and who you serve, so that you can have the most success. And from a marketing perspective, it means when you get crystal clear on that message because you know who your niche is, clients will actually find you a whole lot faster and easier.
All right. I'm Rebecca Hay, and I've built a successful interior design business by trial and error, podcasts, online courses, and so many freaking books. Over the last decade, I've grown from an insecure student to having false starts to careers, and now I'm finally in the place where I want to be. Throughout my journey, it's been pretty obvious that I'm passionate about business and helping other entrepreneurs do the same. Each week, I'll share tangible takeaways from my own experience and the experiences of other badass women to help you build your confidence and change your business.
Hey, it's Rebecca, and you are listening to Resilient by Design. Today on the podcast, I am talking about your client. Are you speaking to the right client, or are you kind of watering down your message and speaking to everyone? Welcome back to Resilient by Design. I'm diving into one of the biggest reasons that many interior designers, maybe even you, are stuck in a cycle of budget client, scope creep, and projects that just don't light them up. It is possible that you are trying to talk to everyone, and in doing that, you are literally attracting no one, right? Sometimes it feels frustrating, but don't worry. I'm not here to shame you. This is a pep talk. And more than that, I've got some exciting steps to share with you today. So here's the shift that possibly you have been needing. Because if you've been feeling like, I feel like I'm doing everything right, I'm posting on Instagram, I'm responding to inquiries, maybe I'm even like undercharging just to get the job, like I'm not even that expensive. Why am I not attracting clients or the right clients or better clients? You are not alone. There is a better way, and this is exactly where you need to be right now. I'm going to walk you through my actually 4-part, let's be honest. I'm just looking at my, let's say 4-part solution to this challenge. So buckle up, get your pen and paper, because here we go. Let's be honest. Part 1 is about the problem. The problem is you're trying to speak to everyone. You're possibly a little bit worried that you can't make enough money to pay rent, to make ends meet, or maybe you don't need the revenue, but you feel frustrated because you don't get to do projects that light you up, that allow you to be creative. People aren't trusting you. They're maybe nickel and diming you. Possibly they're shopping you. Who knows? The reality is we try to sound professional, right? All of us want to be and look professional. We want to be polished. And most of the time, we want to be appealing to as many people as possible. For me, that always showed up as my people pleasing. Like, I want everyone to want to hire me. I want everyone to like me. Everything's an opportunity. But here's what really happens when you act and show up this way. First, your message gets vague. Also, the clients who reach out are not the right fit. And you could just sound like every other designer in your city and in your neighborhood. The truth is, if your messaging doesn't make someone feel like you're speaking directly to them, they're going to scroll right past it. So clarity is going to lead to a more specific audience. So when you get clear, I'm going to walk you through that in just a second, you are going to have a much clearer message, but you need to know who it is that you want to work with. And that is something that I think as business owners, and especially as creatives, we tend to breeze over. It's like, we just want to do our art. We want to practice our craft. We want to bring people in, and obviously we want to make money, but I think what happens is we aren't really paying that much attention to how we're showing up and how we're speaking and who it is that we want to serve. We're just like really happy to be serving, right? So the vague message is something like, we're an interior design studio based in Toronto. We do full furnishing and decor. Wah, wah. Like, okay, most designers are doing that or some version of that, right? That's vague. Are you talking about we can appeal to every style? That's also kind of vague. So you want to get really, really specific and clear so that the people who need you can find you and immediately see that you're the right fit. It's kind of similar to this idea of niching down. I'm not going to dive into that so much today, and I've definitely done episodes about that. I just want to talk about your messaging because messaging is everything. And especially in a climate where there could be fear of the unknown, what's happening with the economy, what's happening on the political landscape, like across the globe, there is a bit of hesitation to get really specific because we want to make sure we're covering all our bases and we can still generate revenue and people are still going to hire us. But I actually think the opposite is going to be what will help you is getting super clear and getting specific. Right? I mentioned that your message is vague, potentially. Then I also mentioned clients who reach out maybe aren't the right fit. So what I mean by that is someone could be reaching out to you. I actually just spoke with a designer the other day and they said, this person hired me for a paint consultation because I offer paint consultations. And then when I was at her house, she was like, "Oh, well, let's get you to quote on designing all of these things." And they're walking through the kitchen and the living room and they're talking about moldings and I don't know, like wallpaper and decorating and like maybe a little bit of renovation, but like small scale stuff. And so this designer's like, wow, this paint consultation is really turning into a big project. And so she's taking all the notes. And I chatted with her after she sent out her proposal for the paint consultation. And she used my pricing with confidence formula to price her project at a more fair rate than what she had done historically. And she's like, the woman did not get back to me. This client just ghosted me, to which we don't know what happens, right? We've talked about that on this podcast is what to do when a client ghosts you, but it's possible anything could have happened in their life. But I also asked that designer, I want you to reflect on your initial interaction. When they first came to you, they weren't looking for full service design. They weren't looking for designer. They were looking for what you offered, which was paint consultations. Not to say that a paint consultation can't turn into the project of your dreams. It has happened, it's possible. But what's happening is the message she's putting out is for someone who's probably more budget savvy, who just wants a little bit of help, who can probably feels like they can do it themselves. It's not the right fit client. If what you actually want is to do the full gamut, your messaging is vague and is maybe or is specific in the wrong area. And so the clients reaching out aren't the right fit. And then we also have this tendency of sounding like everybody else because we think that, and I mean, I'm guilty of that. In my early years, I would literally go to local designers' websites, be like, ooh, she looks like she's killing it. And I would literally like plagiarize their verbiage when I would talk to people, right? I'd be like, oh, I mean, don't worry, I didn't like post this anywhere or make money of it. I would always like learn from them and then put it differently on my own website. But I was basically like, okay, well, she said we offer turnkey design. I'm like, I'm going to say that we offer whatever it was. I just copied what I saw out there as examples. And it wasn't actually a reflection of me, but I was just trying to show up professionally. And I kind of just sounded like everybody else. I recently had a conversation with someone who reached out to me and they wanted to hire us for our services. And I said, I'm not taking on projects right now. This is my year sabbatical from design work. So I can focus on the podcast and I can focus on my courses. And he said, okay, well, can you recommend some designers? And I gave him a few names. And he eventually got back to me and said, yeah, no one here is really standing out to me. Nothing about them seems different. They all kind of say the same thing. And these were like established designers. You need to get clarity on your message. Okay, so I want to move into part 2. So now we understand why the general messaging is just not a great solution for someone looking to grow their business and attract better clients. So the second part is then understanding who is it that you want to serve? Who is your dream client? Really? And when I say this, I don't just mean, oh, it's a woman in her 30s and 40s, and she likes neutrals and modern design. I mean, that's pretty general and vague again. What I want to know and what I think will help you and serve you better in your business from all the ideal client exercises I've done, and I teach this inside all of my programs, I think, because it's so foundational. I teach this inside Pricing with Confidence. I teach this inside Power of Process. I teach this inside my mastermind. Like, these are the foundation of your business, of any business in any industry, whether it's service or product based. You need to know who your client is. But when I ask this question, and the way I've been teaching it has shifted over the years, but what I've learned from my own experience is you need to understand more than demographics. What are they like? What do they value? Are they decisive? Do they want to feel taken care of? Do they value design but have no time to do it themselves? Are they did they grow up with like nice expensive things? Do they desire to have nice expensive things? Do they want to show off? Are they ashamed of their space? Like, what are those feelings and emotions that go with your client when they're coming to hire you, or the person that you want to serve? And then if you've done this before and you have projects under your belt, I want you to think about your favorite project ever. Favorite project. What made that client such a joy to work with? And one of the exercises, I've done a few private coaching over the past year or so, one-on-one with designers. And I always start off our 6 months together with one exercise, which is I have them review their projects from the previous year, and I have them put them into categories of good, better, best. And I encourage you to do this too yourself if you haven't done this. Good, better, best. And even if you've only had a couple projects under your belt, you can look at those projects. And maybe you want to look further back than a year, by all means. But when I ask them to put them into good, better, best, I ask them to do it multiple times, because sometimes you could have a great project that made a lot of money, but actually the client was pretty shitty. Or sometimes you could have a project that is like, oh, so creatively fulfilling, and it looked amazing and you got featured in a magazine, but you made no money. So I asked them to go through this exercise for 3 different ways. Good, better, best, the client. Good, better, best, financially, like which one brought in the most money for you. And then good, better, best for creative fulfillment. And today I just want to focus on the client one, because if you can think about, if you were to categorize your projects by good, better, best and figure out which projects were the best clients to work with, I want you to really focus in on what were the attributes of that client that made them so great. Forget about if you made money off of it. Forget about if it was really that creative. Were they really trusting? Did they get excited when you came to their house? Right? Had they been struggling for years and just finally decided it was worth it to invest? Did they work with designers before it didn't? Like, what is it about that client? And when you get clear on this, your marketing is going to become a lot easier and a lot more effective. And this is exactly what I help designers with inside my boot camp. So I'm going to share more about the boot camp to come. We just did it for the first time at the beginning of the year, and it was a huge success. And so we're bringing it back, and I'm going to share that in just a minute. But we do dive really deep into understanding this client, because it can sometimes feel overwhelming to make those decisions about who you want to serve. But that is a really, really important part of clarifying your messaging and making it a message, or making your business stand out so you're speaking to the dream client instead of just speaking to everyone. Okay, part 3, we're going to talk a little bit about the niching down, because I know I mentioned it earlier, and though this whole podcast isn't about that, I do think it's worthy of a moment as a reminder that you can niche down without scaring people off. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Niching down does not mean limiting yourself. Yes, niching down does not mean limiting yourself. I'm going to explain why. When you get niche, or like really specific, serving one type of audience, one type of client or customer, it means getting crystal clear on who you are and who you serve. so that you can have the most success. And from a marketing perspective, it means when you get crystal clear on that message because you know who your niche is, clients will actually find you a whole lot faster and easier. When you can show up and confidently say, we serve busy professionals who want a high touch, stress free design experience and don't want to be involved. For example, the right people are going to say, oh my God, that's me. I don't want to be involved. Oh, I thought I would have to go around to all these showrooms and I don't have time for that. That's the designer for me. And then also, you're going to deter the people who are not quite right. Right? And the people who see that and are like, "Oh, I really want to be involved. I don't know if this designer's for me." Great. Let them keep scrolling, right? Let them not hit inquire on your website. Let them not waste your time. And there's this fear that if you are turning people away or you're deterring or repelling, let's be honest, we're kind of repelling those people. There is a fear that then where's the work going to come from? Guys, I can tell you it's there. There are people who want what you have to offer. There are people who want they want you to help them in the way that you want to help them. And the beauty of really getting clear on who it is you're serving. So what is your messaging and getting really niching down? And when I say niching down, I don't mean you have to only serve retirees or empty nesters. I mean, if you want to, awesome. That is a great niche. But there could be other characteristics that make your people niche. Maybe they're all lawyers. Maybe they're different age categories and different stages of life, but you love working with lawyers. Or maybe it's young families. Or maybe it's, women who are like a not a bachelorette, that's not the word. Like divorcees. Maybe it's just professional couples looking to level up and move from their starter home to their dream home. There's so many different ways that you can be niche without being too specific if that scares you. But I can tell you right now that when your message is super broad in general, it is vague and you're going to attract a little bit of everybody, but not the right ones. So part 4 is really how do you refine your messaging? Because that's what needs to happen, right? It's one thing to know, okay, this is who I want to serve. But like, how do I talk about it? Or how do I get the word out that that's who I want so they can actually find me? And so this is where the rubber meets the road, as they say. Here, I'm just going to give you a few tips here because this is something we dive deeper into inside the bootcamp. But for today's purposes, I want you to consider, how do you show up in your Instagram bio or your website when it shows up in Google? So if somebody first comes and lands on you, does your Instagram bio or your website name who you help? So whether it's their Instagram bio, but whether it's the website on the Google search page or on your homepage of your website, assuming you have a website, if you don't, you're working on building one out, these are things to consider. I want you to be super clear. It's right at the top. Who is it for? Who are you for? Who do you help? I know when we redid our website, we got really clear. Our clients are busy working professionals who trust us to, take the reins and manage the project on their behalf. Like, let's immediately show people who you are, as opposed to interior design studio in Toronto, Canada, servicing all your design needs. Wah, wah. And then I want you to consider, are you using, whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, website, your emails, your verbal communication, right? Because it's really wherever you're showing up. Are you using generic industry language, or are you really speaking to someone's pain points? So let me give you an example. Generic industry language might be something like, I love this one. I love when designers do this. We handle specification and scheduling. Well, let's be honest. What the hell are you talking about? Specification? That is an industry. I mean, that's not so generic. It's kind of specific. So that's maybe a specific example. How about you speak to someone's pain points? right? We will select all of the items for your home and ensure everything gets delivered to site in a timely manner. Oh my gosh, you're going to find everything for me and you're going to make sure it gets to my house? Oh, that would be amazing. I don't even know where to start. Or maybe their pain point is they don't know where to shop, right? So you could say, we work with um, trusted suppliers and we have an extensive list of, I don't know, vendors and suppliers who we work with to furnish and decorate a home or what have you, something like that. Um, Generic example would be something like, we create contemporary and classic homes. Or at our design firm, you know, I'm trying to think of another example at the top of my head and I can't think of another example. You get the idea, right? Ultimately, I want you to ask yourself this question. Would my dream client feel seen by what I'm saying? Would they feel seen? Would they feel like, oh my God, she gets me? Oh my God, it's like she's in my head. That's what we want. That's what we want. Small tweaks make a huge difference. So we had a guest speaker come into Designer's Room a little while ago, and oh my God, she audited a couple of the members' websites. And that recording is saved, like it is inside Designer's Room. So if you're a member, if you join us, you'll get to go back and you can watch that recording. And wow, was it a light bulb for me? I literally was watching her talk and go through someone else's website. And at the same time, I was looking at my website and I saw like 50 places, things I had to change. I took a million notes. I still haven't made those changes, but I did see all those changes. And I was like, holy F, I had no idea. It's little things. It's tiny little tweaks, right? Like you could say something like, if you're overwhelmed by design decisions, we've got you. Or we can help you create a home that reflects your personality, not just trends. Or we can help you or we can blend you and your partner's style. That's another pain point, right? It's like, well, I like contemporary. My husband likes traditional, let's say. In my case, it's the opposite, but right. And like, I can't even imagine being able to design a home that we both love, so they don't even try. Those are little tweaks in your message that are going to make a huge difference, and they're going to speak to the people that you want to serve, but you need to know who you want to serve. So take a minute right now, or a little bit later if you have time, make some time, or if you don't have time, make some time. And I want you to write down, who is your dream client? Like for real, like who would you like to serve? What type of personality? What are their pain points? And then take that description and audit your bio, your Instagram bio or your website header. Does it actually say who you help? Are you clear enough? And then if you've been nodding your head through this whole episode, this is your invitation to join me inside the Standout Designer Bootcamp. Is back. The first time we ran it ever was earlier this year. It was like January, February, and the response was overwhelming. And honestly, I knew that I was onto something because people were making massive progress just in our 2 weeks together. So we decided to bring it back again. So for those who missed it or needed a second chance, or you're just hearing about it for the first time, this isn't just another training. It is your moment to finally say, I am done attracting clients that are not the right fit. I'm ready to level up, and I want to attract better clients. We're going to deep dive on a lot of the topics I shared today and then some. And I'm going to walk you through uncovering what it is. Like, what is it about you that can make you stand out as a designer in a business? How can you pre-qualify those clients? Like, how do you know when they come to you if they're the right fit? And how do you do that with confidence? And then I'm also sharing the exact steps that you can take to turn those new potential clients, those inquiries, those new leads into a solid design project, and how to do that sales, how to have that sales conversation. So it's going to kick off with our live welcome party on Wednesday, May 28th. And trust me, you're going to want to be there from day one. The energy is amazing. The Facebook group is just on fire with everyone sharing. The clarity you will gain is priceless, and it's only $47. So if you're ready to attract those better clients, feel confident in your process, and finally own your value, this could be your first step. So tap the link in the show notes, or you can head on over to RebeccaHay.com/bootcamp to grab your spot. And I can't wait to see you there. You've got this, and I'll see you soon.